Good evening, chat. Hello. How are you guys doing? Fuck, it's been a bit goddamn this past week. I was just like all day, chat, all day. But anyways, how are you guys doing? It is Wednesday night. We don't have a whole lot of times. I got some shit I got to get done. We're gonna be working late tonight. But we do want to cover Aaron Spencer, and it's gonna be Live, Laugh, Losses. Are you okay? You're on time. Yeah. Nick says, must have seen my comment. Yeah, I know. It's like, you're going to be late. You suffer. Well, there you go. Suffer. So, we are going to it's going to be a little shorter tonight, guys, just because I got stuff I got to get done. And we'll go ahead I got to go ahead and do that stuff. So, I'm not looking forward to it, but we're going to do it. So, let's see. You're welcome for the bullying. Yeah. Love says, I found that using uBlock Origin disables chat on YouTube. Yeah, interesting. Okay. That's kind of interesting. That's an interesting thing to do here. Fire Red Podcast, been a member for 5 months, says, hey, Sean. Hope you and 2.0 are well. We are. We are very much so. Thank you. What the hell? Hold on, chat. The fuck? My screen just like shit out on me. Ooh, why did I turn this off? It's so bright. It's so bright. It's too white, chat. Normally I wouldn't say that, but it is. It's too white. It's too white, chat. I can't handle it. It's too white. Oh no. It's too white. You're like, but Sean, it's never white enough. It's like, well, in this situation, it is. So I don't know what to tell you. Don't know what to tell you, so. All right, here. So that is fixed. God, that was bright. That was really, really bright. Today is National French Dip Sandwich Day. I had to go celebrate. No. No, did not. Sorry, did not help you there. Did I say it was wide or white? No, it was all bright. You guys didn't see that? I was like it's like an alien abduction for a second. It was rough. So, he's off center. Yeah, I am. Jeez. So, I need to move it. I don't know which way I have to go. I'll have to move it later. Hey, there we go. We're centered. So, Chugi's saying, is the interview they didn't break any rules? I don't know. I have no idea. All I know is it's kind of fucked up if you're trying to interview a guy who's not competent and suffering from mental health issues. I mean, that seems pretty fucked up, especially if you then cause him to get sent to the hole and into segregation because of that. I mean, that seems like a real fucking Chad move, in my opinion. And you know, that's just me. So, I mean, even if it's not illegal, it's kind of a shitbag thing to do. But what do I know? Just saying. I'm not justified on the page. Yeah. Yes. All right, guys. So we're going to get started here. We're going to get started talking about the Aaron Spencer thing. But first, real quick, just so you guys know, if you guys were not aware, literally just happened. Breaking news, like we have an update. The House is officially signed. They voted on the Senate amendment. The government is back open. Yay, because the past 43 days we're just like living in hell. I mean, that's the funny part of this. We went 43 days without the government really working, and like that was like, did anybody really notice there was a problem? Did anybody notice there was a problem? Yeah, it's not a clean CR. No, there's all kinds of garbage and shit in it. Yes, yes. Take your EBT to Stonies, chat. Luke Pearson says, well, Trump needs to sign it. If I was Trump, I'd fucking repeal it, and I'd veto it and say, give me the filibuster, motherfuckers. At this point, why not? Why not? But anyways, it passed 222 to 209, and here you go.
On this vote, the yeas are 222, the nays are 209. The bill is passed. The motion is adopted.
So there you go. Yay! 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 Yes. Government overspending is back on the menu, boys. Yes. And we haven't had a budget since 1997. I know, that's the funny thing. We've never really had a budget. You know, for the majority of my life now at this point. Since 1997. Last time there was a budget, I was 11 years old. So, what bullshit they put into it? All kinds of bullshit. There's all kinds of garbage in it looks like, so I don't know. Just here's the easy thing. Assume this bill is going to just right up your ass. I don't know how. And imagine there's going to be like 1,000 fists all at once doing that. That's what's going to happen. All you need to know is you aren't getting anything out of it. That's all that matters. You're not getting anything out of it. Somebody else is, and that means their hand, 1,000 hands are going to be milking your prostates. So, well, that's all bills. Yes, exactly. Yes. Hava Nagila. Intensifies, yes. Luke says, what if I'm into that? Well, then there you go. You're going to have it's the best day ever. It's the best day ever. Yes, GM says, we did nothing. Yes. Yay, you did nothing. Good job. Give yourself a hug. Yay. Yes, someone's beak is getting wet, and it's not yours. It's not yours. We won, but also somehow lost. Well, we always lose. Even when we win, we lose. Sweet Tooth Fairy says, but I don't have a prostate. Don't worry. They'll pretend like you do have one. Don't worry. They ain't going to forget about you. Oh. Let's see here. Wasn't that in a Kung Fu movie? Maybe. Let's see here. We got to have them food stamps in time for Thanksgiving. Yeah, well, at some point, something was going to happen here. I mean, we went 43 days into it. People got paid. Think about it. There wasn't any shortage of money. The money still went out because notice nobody was ever crying about it. Nobody ever went to the news was ever like, look at these poor little black kids starving. There weren't roving war bands of people in the hood, attacking. Everybody got paid. The riot insurance got paid. As much as we thought it was going to be hilarious, they didn't indulge us. The riot insurance got paid on time, as it's wont to do. So yes. Yes. Peter says, Sar Vivek says Mortage wouldn't be Sar. Yes, he does. Yes, he does. I don't want to become Pindia. I do not. No Sar. But I feel like that's going to happen. Ugh. I mean, at least then you don't have to worry about, like, if you have to poop, you just all right, well, just, sit on the curb and poop. And that way you don't have to worry about it. So, I guess when in Rome. Yes, Congress bowed down to the big weave and big nail salon, the weave industry, the weave lobby, big weave. So there we go. Yeah. Anyways, that is their chat. We are going to move on now. I guess it's time to get going here. Aaron Spencer. And we talked about Aaron Spencer's saga before. Aaron Spencer is a father down in Arkansas. Remember, it's Arkansas. Hold on here. Why is this not showing up? I just put this up here. So remember, guys, it's Arkansas. It's our Kansas, not their Kansas. Once again, it really makes you wonder. I know for those of you who are not, very good on your geographical leanings, it is here in the South. The South. And it is, where the hell is this at? It's outside of Little Rock, I think. Oh, where the hell is it? Oh, God, I messed up here. Lono County, Arkansas. It is just outside of Little Rock. And here's where you're talking about. Here's where all this stuff happened. Out here in Lono County. Oh, actually, a little farther north. Sorry, Sar. But Lono County, Arkansas. It's right here. So you're not on the hauler, but you're in a nice place. You're in a nice place. And this is where he is being prosecuted. As you remember, the facts of the case are that Aaron Spencer woke up in the middle of the night and realized, hey, my daughter's not home. Oh, geez, that's not good. Why is that not good? Well, number one, it's his daughter, who's a teenager. But number two, his daughter was the victim of a sexual assault by a nasty, violent predator in their community who had been luring her using the internet and sexually assaulting her multiple times over. That guy was named Michael Fosler. Michael Fosler was a former police officer in Lono County and had a bit of a, people liked him, it appears. People liked him a little bit. And, Aaron Spencer doing something that, what most people think to do at that point, went out and looked for his daughter. And this is Aaron holding turkeys. This is Michael Fosler, a fucking pedophile. And what happened? This is, Michael Fosler, the pedophile, and Aaron, the brave dad. Aaron went and looked for them. They drove around. And what is the story that we had heard? Remember, I told you, I had concerns because we didn't know everything yet. But the story we knew at the time was that Aaron had chased them down. His daughter was in the car with the guy. And something happened, and Michael Fosler ended up dead, and they charged Aaron Spencer with murder. Now, remember, I told you guys at the time, maybe there's something we don't have. Maybe there's something we don't know. Sometimes that happens. We don't know exactly what happened. We don't know. Maybe Aaron Spencer did something really fucked up. Maybe he did something out of line. Maybe Michael Fosler had surrendered and said, please don't kill me. Please. And Aaron Spencer just fuck right in the guy's head. Who knows? Who knows? He could have done something that broke the law. And I told you guys that. Be prepared. We don't have the full story. And we're going to have to wait for the prosecutor to explain some of it. Well, Aaron filed his motion. We went over these previously. His motions explaining what had happened and why there should be motions in limine to prevent Aaron's previous statements from being introduced. Well, the prosecutor did respond on a bunch of things. And we're going to get to all of that. So the last time we were here, on this case, Aaron had filed some motions regarding the Fifth Amendment and various constitutional things here. And we went through all of that. And this is where we had stopped. And honestly, to be fair, his attorney, they made a really good argument. But was a court going to grant it? No. No, they weren't. They weren't. But we did learn, in the past week or so, a bunch of stuff has been filed. And some of those things, and one of them that's kind of important is there's a bunch of deadlines that happen and things have been extended. And this is not uncommon. There's still probably all kinds of stuff going on. We need time. So there's a joint motion to extend discovery and motion filing. So what happens? The case is set for pre-trial December 17th, and for jury trial at the end of January next, and that should be 2026, not 2025. I know people saying, "Oh my God, there's a typo." Like people typo all the time. You go to McDonald's, they put pickles on your burger and said you don't want pickles. This is the equivalent. It's a typo. It happens everywhere. So the parties requested extension of discovery completion and motion filing. They say, well, much discovery from the state has been provided to do this on our own. The parties don't believe it's necessary to impose a new deadline. The state has arranged for the production of the remaining material has been identified, and it will promptly produce any material discovered in the future, as will defense counsel. Remember, you have to. And it's because it's not complete, we ask that the motion filing deadline also be extended. The parties want to extend it from November 24th. They want to go to the 24th with responses due by December 8th. And that allows everybody to review all material and draft the motions. And this is also the parties request an extended deadline to account for Thanksgiving. And that's why you're saying, like, wow, that's a big gap there. Well, they're anticipating there's not going to be some work done over Thanksgiving. So this is also the issue here. The undersigned says, I got a federal trial on December 17th, and it presently appears it will proceed on that date. If the federal trial proceeds, the defense counsel will request the court either continue the pretrial or schedule a second pretrial before the trial date, at which some or all the pending motions are heard by the court, so that she can be present to advocate. Remember, because he's got two separate attorneys. He's got Michael Kaiser, and he's also got Aaron Casanelli. And that makes sense. Hey, look, Judge, I got all kinds of shit going on. Not uncommon at all. Not uncommon at all. Guys, if you're having problems, just refresh. I'm not sure what's going on. Here. So that is what we're looking at. That is what we're looking at tonight. What happened here? The stream died? Are you guys back? It didn't go down on my end. Jefferson says, is this the crazy broad gag order get knocked down? Yes. This is that case where the judge issued that insane gag order that the Arkansas Supreme Court stepped in and said, no, we're not doing this. And this is the one where the justice even said, we probably shouldn't have her. We should probably remove her from this case because she's already fucked it up. So StreamYard is whacked with the YouTube update. Yeah, that's... Yeah, I don't know what's going on, guys. If I muted, refresh, yeah, well, sometimes it might mute you down below, like at the bottom of the screen here. So in response to all of this, though, the county prosecutor's office, which, once again, are these just disgusting shit human beings here. These horrible human beings here. The Lonoke County Prosecutor's Office. I mean, just look at this guy. Look at this guy. Chuck Graham, he's their prosecuting attorney. I'd love to be a fly on the wall where this guy explains why they have to prosecute Aaron Spencer. But as they do it, you find out that the main guy running this is ultimately the chief deputy prosecutor, John Cuckin Huggins. John Cuckin Huggins. That's who we're dealing with. John Cuckins Huggins. He's the chief deputy prosecutor here. And what happens here? Well, they filed a motion in response to the motion in limine. And whoo, buddy, this is only a couple of pages, but it's very, 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 very good. This is very good. So grab some popcorn, chat. I promise you, please grab some popcorn. I'll give you a preview of this. There's only one preview you need to know. There's only one thing you need to think about.
Was this story based? Yes.
It's going to be absolutely based, let me tell you. It is going to be mega based. It's going to be based. It's going to be good, chat. So here we go. YouTube filters are horrible. YouTube filters are always horrible. So here we go. So they come through and they respond to all this. They point out that Aaron Spencer is charged with murder in the second degree and the killing of Michael Fosler. Yes, we know that. The chain of events to Fosler's murder began on July 8th. When Aaron Spencer arrived at Leanna Higginbotham's house, an acquaintance of Fosler, and told her that and I'm assuming Fosler, this is the way this is written, that he had raped. This is the problem when you use too many he's. Who is he? So when the defendant came to Leanna Higginbotham's house, an acquaintance of Fosler, and told her that Fosler had raped his minor daughter and wanted Fosler's phone number and address. Spencer told Higginbotham, "Don't call anyone, don't call the police." Understandable. Out of concern, she spoke with a family member about her interaction with Spencer. Her family member, a mandated reporter, was required to report the rape allegations to law enforcement and reported them to the sheriff's office. That same day, 2 people from the sheriff's office responded to Spencer's residence to open an investigation about the rape allegation. The interaction was recorded on body cam, and a transcript of the relevant portions are included as attachment A. The sergeant asked Spencer, "Is there any truth to this?" And Spencer replied, "I don't know." And while attempting to investigate this, Spencer was mainly concerned about the identity of the mandated reporter and his beliefs in the adequacies of the judicial system. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that's not true. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that's not correct. I'm just saying. And yes, the mandated reporter, who the fuck was this that snitched it out? Yeah, I understand. I understand why he's upset. I understand he's upset. That this happens. This happens. This is David Davis, who's been a member for 13 months. Thank you, David. Says, "Hi, Sandwich Man." Well, hello. And guys, I'll get to the other things here in a second. The sheriff deputy then stated to Spencer, "We still don't live in a country where you can take the law in your own hands." Spencer responded, "Bullshit." And at times, yes, I agree. See attachment A. Eventually, Spencer's wife provided information to the deputies regarding the sexual assault of their daughter. The daughter was interviewed at the Wade Knox Children's Advocacy Center, and they do what's called a CAC interview. And they basically do a forensic interview with the child. On July 8th, the Cabot Police Department, which is a city nearby, Cabot, Arkansas, 3 days later, they had an arrest warrant for this guy. Oh, man. When I read this earlier, I'm like, wow. They didn't waste any time if they went ahead and got this already. That's impressive. That's nothing to sneeze at. That's nothing to sneeze at. If you can get a warrant that fast, that's impressive. That's impressive. Now, what happened from here? So, the warrant was on July 11th for Foster's arrest for 1 count of rape and 1 count of internet stalking of a child, both Y felonies. Which, I get, it's a class Y felony, but you're like, why? Why, Gary? Why? That's the type of felony I was thinking of. That's why it's called Y. It's like, why, Gary? Why? And if you guys remember, ultimately, for Michael Fosler, it got a little more worse for him in that case. As things were done. Yeah. If you guys don't remember, this is Michael Fosler's case. State of Arkansas versus Michael Fosler. And from here, what did Michael Fosler do? Well, he had a bunch of charges, ultimately. A lot internet stalking of a child, sexual assault, sexual indecent with a child, electronic facilitation, child sexual abuse. Pandering and possessing mediums, yeah, that's a lot. Like, Ooh, we just go on and on and on. And the beat goes on and on and on and on. 43 counts. Woo. 43 counts. 43 counts, chat. 43 counts. He was later taken to the jail the same day. Fosler was first seen his first appearance hearing after arrest by a Lonoke County district judge. The same judge we're in front of right now for this case. The same judge that put a gag order on Aaron Spencer. On July 12th, his bond was set at $50,000. Fosler was ordered not to have contact with any minor, a violation of which would result in his bond being revoked. Fosler made bond on July 17th and was released with pretrial release conditions, including the no contact order. So on October 8th at 1:12 a.m., Heather Spencer called 911 to report their daughter was missing. They found their daughter's bed made up to look like she was asleep, but was not in the bed. Consistent with the beliefs expressed to law enforcement on July 8th, Spencer proceeded to take the law into his own hands. Well, he went to go look for his daughter. Spencer later told investigators, and this is where you don't talk to the cops. Do not talk to the cops. Don't talk to them. He immediately got into his truck to look for Fosler, stating he was vigilant for him. Spencer left his home traveling westbound on Highway 236. And Spencer stated as he was turning onto Highway 31 at the section of Highway 236, he saw Fosler's white Ford truck passing him, turning onto Highway 236 eastbound back to Spencer's house with his daughter in the passenger seat. With his daughter in the passenger seat. Wow. Like read that, guys. Let that sink in. Let that sink in. Let it in. Let it in, chat. You got to let that sink all the way in there. That sink has to come in. Literally, the thing that happened. Like, it happened. The guy literally had his victim in the car with him. Wow. 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 Tim B says he wasn't charged with kidnapping. He was dead before they could do anything, so it was too late to charge him. Oh. So this is the problem here. Like this is the thing. So he turned around and began following Fosler. He was honking and flashing his lights in an attempt to stop Fosler. After following Fosler for 6 miles, why didn't Fosler stop and let the kid out? Why did Fosler have the kid in his car? Because he was diddling her. Because he was diddling her. He was fucking with her. Spencer struck Fosler's truck, containing both Fosler and Spencer's daughter. Once again, they're not denying that happened. As a result, the truck was rammed into a ditch, striking a wooden gate post. After exiting the vehicle, Spencer began to fire at Fosler. Spencer continued to fire a total of 16 times. 15 of 16 rounds entered Fosler. Woo, buddy! Woo, buddy! Fucking homie put in some work.
Got they licking their pencils right now, trying to write fierce as they can. Get every word of this here. Get every word of this.
I mean, wow. Just basically, here's a reenactment of what happened. That's what I'm assuming. Fucking mag dumped into this guy. I mean, unless he was he had a 30-round stendo. This dude put 16 rounds. He put 15 rounds into the guy and tried to give him a 16th. Whoa. Whoa. Like I told you guys.
Was this story based? Yes.
After firing Spencer pistol whipped Fosler in the face. I'm not really okay. Yeah, this is yeah, I'm just saying. Stormtroopers got nothing on him. Oh. 16 rounds of justice. Yeah, that's a good hit or miss ratio. I'm assuming that the truck was stuck and Aaron Spencer walked up to the car, this guy's truck, and Foster's just sitting there. I'm sure it was probably like this. Oh my God, please don't kill me. I'm sure that's kind of what it was like. I'm sure he's like, no! And Aaron Spencer's just like I'm sure that's how it happened. I'm sure there wasn't like an exchange of gunfire or he wouldn't raise his hands. I'm sure Aaron Spencer's like, I just fucking unloaded on this cocksucker. I totally think that happened. I totally think that's how it happened. So still, it's still a good it's still a good hit miss, good KDR. Robin says double stack. I'm betting it's like a Glock 19 or like a Beretta 92. Aaron was a paratrooper, so a lot of former a lot of Army Marine veterans, they love the Beretta 92 15-round magazine. It'd be even funnier if it was something like a 1911 and he fucking reloaded and hit him up. Sweet Tooth Phrase, this it's kind of passion. We'll get to that. That's a good question. We'll get to that. But yeah, I don't see nothing wrong here at this point. Now, what did he say? Here's how this worked. He said he then called 911 and stated, Michael Fosler is fucking dead on the side of the road for trying to kidnap my daughter. I had no choice. Once again, man, the former lieutenant governor, Laura Carroll's right.
Got they licking their pencils around, trying to write fierce as they can. Get every word of this here. Get every word of this.
Get every word of this. I mean, you shouldn't talk to the cops, but it's like, I'm getting every word of this down. Yeah. Every word. In fact, Spencer had made multiple choices that night. Spencer could have called 911 once he discovered Fosler and his daughter. Okay, what would have happened? Nothing would have happened in the meantime. Had he called 911 and still did it, what would have happened? Would that have changed anything? No. Spencer saying, now here's something. Once again, that's why you don't talk to the cops. You fuck yourself when you're not paying attention. You fuck yourself. Because here's what he did that doesn't help him. He stated in his interview that he was driving so fast that he could not unlock his phone and call 911. However, a forensic examination of the phone paints a different story. Not only does the examination show his phone was unlocked, remember, guys, we learned that, well, I'm sure you guys learned that in the Murdaugh trial. They can tell when your phone's been swiped open. They can tell the orientation. They can tell if somebody's holding it, if it's moving at all. Or they can tell if it's just laying flat on the table. But his phone was unlocked but was in use. Spencer had a 1 minute and 39-second phone conversation with a family member at 1:16. He received multiple text messages marked red and called his wife twice around 1:31 a.m., all before calling 911. Spencer also had good reason to believe his daughter had snuck out of the house, had actually not been kidnapped that night. What? What? Oh, so he was justified because the fucking kid hung out with the pedophile? Is that the argument? Like, oh, she was in on it too. The bitch was in on it with the pedophile. Like, they're almost pedophile shaming. Yeah, she's 14 fucking years old. She's 14. Like, think about that. Think about that. Your daughter snuck out, and she happened to sneak out to go to the pedophile that had probably been grooming her and fucking with her. The one he was told, don't contact. Yet he's driving her around. What was he going to do? He's like, listen, you shouldn't be coming out here with me. I'm going to drop you off. No, if you guys, you out there, God forbid, you're ever in a situation like this, and that kid comes to your house, call the fucking police and lock your doors like a fucking zombie's trying to get in. Don't go driving around with them. Don't go driving around with them. This is just fucking insane. Yes, I'm waiting for the prosecutor to say, but consider what she's wearing. But consider what she was wearing that night, chat. So, I mean, and then it says Aaron, and they go on. They go on. They go on. They go on. Spencer did not want the police involved when he initially discovered his daughter was sexually assaulted. That's not uncommon. Nor do they want them involved when he found Fosler with his daughter. Okay. His understandable rage. So you understand why he would be angry. Did not give him legal right to kill Fosler. I don't know if you really want to make this argument in front of a jury, man. His belief espoused to Sergeant Ingham's that was bullshit that we still live in a country where you cannot take the law in your own hands runs counter to our entire justice system. Protecting a pedophile cop runs contrary to our entire justice system, you faggots. The evidence that the defense wants to exclude regarding Spencer's statements, wherein he didn't wish to involve police in his daughter rape investigation, his implicit comments that he could take the law into his own hands, and should not be charged with a crime are directly related to his actions on the night of October 8th. Not only are the statements by a party opponent, which they are, the evidence is also clearly admissible under Arkansas Rules of Evidence 404B, which allows other acts that they are admissible to prove intent, motive, plan, and knowledge. They also get into a relevancy argument here, guys. Evidence is relevant if it's having any tendency to make the existence of any fact that is consequence more probable or less probable than it would be without the evidence. And that is the relevancy argument. Does it make it, and I've told you guys this before, how does relevancy work? Does it make it more likely or less likely this thing occurred? So it's going to be a little tough here on that. They say Spencer's affirmation that one can take the law into their own hands makes the extrajudicial act of killing Fosler more probable, done without any consideration of the law in self-defense or the defense of others. Well, it doesn't, like, the kid was in the car with a violent person who would not stop. That sounds like kidnapping to me. I'm just a simple country lawyer from Ohio, but why wouldn't Fosler stop the car? You'd be like, he couldn't see. I'm sure he didn't stop because he didn't want to get his fucking ass kicked because he's a pedophile with a 14-year-old in his car that he's already been diddling. I get that. But you got to, homie, you fucking bought the ticket. You're all along for the ride now. Sometimes you got to take a beating. This is one of them. If you're a pedophile and you pick up the kid you're fucking and the dad finds out, guess what? You might get a mud hole stomped in your ass. That's a risk with the territory. Guys on Deadliest Catch might get yanked off the boat in a storm. You might get killed by an angry father if you're a pedophile. Hazards of the trade. Hazards of the trade. So they want to deny the motion and allow this testimony to be elicited by the state in their case in chief. Think about this. Their argument is, yup, he did all of that. He did all of that. Yup, he had the kid in the car. He wouldn't stop the car. But you know what? He didn't deserve to die. You fucking do that. Fucking try that case. Fucking try that case. Try that shit, man. Try that shit. This is the fucking nerve of these cocksuckers. Like, so anyways, we also have the body camera transcript. This is a transcript that's been prepared. So, and this is where the police start talking. Aaron, they say, "Are you Aaron?" He says, "Y'all creeping around here? What's going on?" He says, "We're not creeping around. We're trying to make contact." And he's like, "With me?" He says, "What are you to make contact with him for?" "Well, we've got a report from mandated reporter that your child may have been involved in a rape situation." And he says, "Who's the mandated reporter?" "Well, you're not allowed supposed to do that." He says, "Cool, who was it?" He says, "Is there any truth to this?" He's like, "I don't know." He says, "Would you like to talk to us about it?" He's like, "I'm not sure." He says, "I'm not sure what's going on." He's allowed to play a little coy. He's allowed to play a little coy. He says, "Do you got any more information?" And they say, "Who called you?" And he says, "Sorry, a mandated reporter called us. Someone that spoke to you earlier is a mandated reporter. They have to report what they heard." "So who heard me say what? What did I say?" And we're going to get to the Arkansas mandatory reporter things here. And they said, we're saying that there potentially may have been a kid who was raped. Obviously, we have to respond. "The person gave your name as the father of the child who may have been raped." He says, "K." He says, "Who called and made these allegations that something might have happened?" And they say, "That's really irrelevant." Well, no, it's not irrelevant, but they're never going to tell you. It is, it really is. I mean, we're here for the child. He says, "Then let's play the guessing game then, right?" I mean, oh my God, this guy must be he's going to be livid as shit right now. They say, you probably know who you spoke to today about looking for somebody's address. I mean, he's like, "Who?" He's like, "I didn't, what did I do? He's like that lady on Mad TV. What I do? And they say that, "What was it? It was Mike Folsom or something." And say, "Who's that?" And he says, "We're trying to help." He's like, "Are you?" And he says, "I'm just wondering who called you saying that there was somebody that was harmed." And they said nobody being harmed. And Aaron's like, "Harmed, H." And he says, "Yeah, I'm carrying." And they go, "I can see you're carrying." Still that. He's like, "I'll keep my hands up here so nobody gets." And they're like, "That's fine. We're not here to cause any problems for you." They say, like, "We need to investigate. We're not the bad guys. I understand your emotional feelings." And Aaron says, "Let me ask you a question. He says, "If these allegations are true and there was a child that was raped," okay, I almost sound like Darkside Phil saying that. "What's going to happen to that man when you arrest him and prosecute him, this and that? 3 to 5? What? He's rolling around cruising and grooming." Like he said, the cop's like, "I understand. I have a kid." He's like, no, seriously. "So if that happened to your kid, right?" He's like, "It did, and it did. And so you went to the police?" The cop's like, "Uh-huh. And how'd that work out? Where is he? Where is the accused today?" And they say, "In prison." And Aaron's like, "He's in prison. Is he serving life?" "No. He's going to get back out, isn't he?" And he's like, "I understand." He's like, "He's going to get back out, and he's going to go around and fuck more kids, okay? So do you think that it's logical for police to come to the police, people to come to police, when they can't do anything about the situation? If someone was harmed, you have to like, I can't say." And he says, let me, the cop says, "Hypothetical, let me ask you this. Let's say, for instance, someone was raped." Spencer's like, "Uh-huh. And let's say the father not rightfully so, but understandably was upset. He took the law into his own hands. Understandably, trust me, I understand. It does something. And that father ends up going to prison. What does that leave that little girl?" And Aaron says, "Why would the father go to prison? That'd be weird." Yosh says, "Hypothetically." And he says, "Hypothetic, right?" He says, "Hypothetically, he does something." And the sergeant goes, "We still don't live in a country where you can go take the law in your own hands, okay?" He's like, "Bullshit." He says that the judicial system can't do a better job, which it doesn't sound like it did here. And he says, well, maybe that rapist and that father could share a jail cell, and maybe that rapist could be the father's little fucking bitch. Aaron's like, "You know what I mean?" They say, "Who pays the price of all this?" "It's the child, ultimately." He says, "Obviously." And then it's Aaron's wife here. But see, here's the deal. Her life has already been ruined now, hasn't it? And Aaron's like, yep. And the officer said, don't ruin it anymore. He says, so what can we do then? Can you guys go get him? Can you put him in prison? And they say, we'll have to do our investigation, obviously. And that's the end of the transcript that we have. That's a little bit we got. That's a little bit we got. Yes, put your boners away, chat. Hand down, Billy Bob. Hand down. Once again.
Was this story based? Yes.
Absolutely based. Absolutely based. I mean, really, like, his daughter was in a car with a sexual predator, accused sexual predator of sexual assault, which I'm sure in Arkansas is probably a violent crime, but I think it'd be fair to consider that a violent crime because it was done against her will, without her consent. She's 14. She can't consent. And then Aaron Spencer tries to stop the car. So guess what? The car is trying to be stopped. You've got my daughter. You have no permission to have my daughter. You won't stop. You're taking, you might be driving towards my house. I don't know where you're going. But you won't stop for 6 miles. That sounds like kidnapping to me. Sounds like kidnapping to me. And kidnapping is 100% an inherently violent and dangerous felony. You are allowed to use lethal force to resist a kidnapping. If you're walking down the street and someone tries to kidnap you, you are within your rights to fucking kill them to stop them. We don't want people getting kidnapped because then it leads to them getting killed. It's a dangerous fucking crime. So yes, David said, MLS saying Aaron Spencer's no hero. I'm like, he's the most upright man in Lonoke County, Arkansas. I can tell you the prosecutor ain't no hero. The judge ain't no hero. I can tell you that much at this point. Maybe he's not a hero, but he don't deserve to be facing an indictment at this point. I mean, the jury's going to find him guilty of having to go eat a juicy steak dinner with us afterwards. And I hope that happens. I hope he gets fucking acquitted within like 5 minutes. The idea that he may go to prison for this is fucking bonkers to me. Fucking bonkers. Because this isn't the daughter went to him and said, Daddy, the guy raped me, and then he killed the guy without any proof. He literally saw his kid in a car with a guy who had been accused of fucking diddling her after he was told stay away from her at the middle of the fucking night. Like, the fucks I have to give are not going to Michael Fosler at this point or the Lonoke County government. They decided this was their stance against vigilantism. Is this ain't it, man. This ain't it, Chief. I'm not saying to you, David. I'm saying in general. This ain't it, Chief. This ain't where you're gonna fucking go. And Tim, Sweet Tooth Fairy, is this kind of crime of passion? Well, no, they're not charging him a manslaughter. They're charging him a murder. No, it wouldn't be a crime of passion. Your child is stuck in a car with a fucking pedophile, and he won't stop the car after he's already accused of victimizing her. She's already said he's victimized her. That's not a crime of passion. That's oh my God, my fucking kid's going to get raped by this fucking pedophile. That's not passion at all. I mean, at the end, yeah, maybe that moment, Michael Fuzz is like, please don't kill me. I'm a piece of shit. And Aaron Spencer's just like, like maybe there was a second or two there. I don't know. Maybe Aaron Spencer just started shooting the fuck as soon as he got out of the car. I don't really know. Don't really care at this point either. I don't really care. Michael Fosler got what he fucking deserved. Don't feel bad about it. I hope it hurt like hell. I hope he was alive long enough to be pistol whipped. I really do, and I'm not joking about that. I don't care what situation it was. Michael Fosler should not have been driving that kid. Even if it was like, oh, look, you shouldn't be here. There's no fucking way to be fair, this doesn't make any fucking sense. Why is the kid in his car? He's gonna be like, she loved me. Y'all don't understand, but I love this 14-year-old girl. Have a seat on the wall, sir. Compelling story. Tim Beatty saying this is explicit justification for lethal force in Arizona. Yeah. Yep. I agree. Tim is saying he was violent. I would argue what he did was violent. Kidnapping a child is violent, not stopping. Sexual assault is a crime of violence, generally speaking. Sarah Brown says this is irrelevant to whether or not Aaron Spencer was in fear of his daughter's life, was in danger in that moment that he found them. Yeah, but remember, they're arguing he didn't. They're arguing he should have called the police and just let it happen, I guess. So, yeah. So, anyways, let's get some super chats here. Enzo for $5 says, chat, be sure to tell every deranged leftist and Zionist you know that Vivek Ramaswamy was the one influenced Charlie Kirk on everything. Okay. Radcon Hazard for $2 says, the only one law firm I trust, and that's Wigger Law. It's definitely not the name of my firm. Jefferson Post says, Spencer cleared that docket right quick. Yeah, he did. He cleared out a 40-count indictment with very judicious efficiency. Anonymous for $20. Thank you, by the way. Saying, can you please explain why a judge would release someone on bond with a condition they can't have contact with any minor? It's absurd to me that someone with such a heinous condition was allowed bond. Well, remember, bond is for two purposes. The primary purpose is to ensure the person returns to court. But the second one is to protect the community. Well, if you're told don't go around minors, and this guy's an old guy, he's in his 60s, yeah, he is entitled to bond under the 8th Amendment. So don't have any contact with any minors. That's that's not uncommon. It's not an uncommon one. Thank you for the super chat. That was a good question. And then Anonymous for $2 says only 15 rounds. Dang mag limits. Well, it's not a mag limit thing. It's just that's a traditional. Actually, it is kind of like a holdover to different things, including the assault weapons ban, but and different things. But 15 rounds is considered like the traditional number for like a 15 to 16 rounds for service handguns. That's quite a bit of firepower to have in your hand at one time. That can still be managed and gripped by your hand, so it's not like shooting out the bottom. So it's not a mag limit thing. Arkansas doesn't have any rules on mag limits. It's just, 15, 16 rounds is the standard. It's been the standard for a long time now. Let me see here. There are too many Sargons in this chat tonight. Let's see. Yeah, it's entirely defensive of third party. Yes. I agree. I'm just glad his daughter didn't get caught in the crossfire. Oh, I think he made sure she wasn't going to get caught. I think he made sure she was safe. This is why they need mobile wood chipper units on call. Jeremiah Maddox, people who don't like this, I'm not going to say they're a pedophile simp. I agree. I can understand people who are saying they don't want people running around killing each other. We have a legal system. I don't fault people for thinking that. The problem is we know now literally the thing happened as it was told. The kid was stuck in this guy's car and he wasn't stopping and letting the child out. Now, sure, he was driving towards Aaron's house, but I don't know what the fuck that means. Why did he stop and let the fucking kid out? Why does he have the kid with him in the first place? At some point, like I said, man, It is a violent felony that was taking place. Aaron Spencer stopped it and defended a third party. Remember, she's 14. She can't consent. She doesn't know what the fuck kind of danger she's in. This guy's probably sweet-talked her and groomed her. And she got in the car with him. I don't know. I don't know how it happened. But he shouldn't have been in there in a car with that fucking 14-year-old at 1:30 at fucking night. So no, all my sympathy for Michael Fosler. I hope it fucking hurt like hell, and I hope you were awake for getting pistol whipped. And I hope the devil is butt fucking you with the hottest poker he can find right now. So. It's kind. Well, guys, like I said, people are not trying to defend that. It's just, I understand. We're dealing with people who are engaged in, like, use of force is never pretty. And, like, this isn't a pretty situation. This is a horrible outcome. Like, you know, people had to die and shit. You're like, yeah, we shouldn't want that. But this time it had to happen. If this had been Aaron's wife instead of him, they'd have a harder time making the case. I agree. AD says, did he use a high point? Well, no. If he had 15 or 16 shots, a fully loaded Glock 19 with like one in the pipe is 16 rounds. A Beretta 92 with one in the pipe is 16 rounds total. They have 15-round magazines. FN pistols have 15-round magazines. There are HK offerings with 15-round magazines. There's all kinds. SIG has more than that. I mean, 15 rounds is not a... I doubt this guy used a high point. High point, he'd have to stop and reload. And that probably would have been a sign of murder at that point. Wasn't Foster like a known diddler? Kind of. Let's see here. I don't think the state's going to try to argue that whatever his belief wasn't reasonable. Well, if the second part doesn't work, then Luke, I think they're going to argue that wasn't a state of mind. I mean, if his belief is reasonable, his state of mind's irrelevant. I'm defending my daughter and murdering this piece of shit. Like, I don't think the jury's going to fucking go along with this. Because if they're going to concede his belief is reasonable, game over. He had a reasonable fear that his daughter was in danger. Self-defense wins. I mean, you know, at that moment in time, he's like, oh my God, I got to save her. Sure, he wanted to fucking kill this guy and make him pay. Fine. The opportunity that he wanted presented itself. Like, he wanted to kill Michael Fosler. I don't doubt that. Michael Fosler gave him on a silver platter. Here, kill me and do it legally. Aaron's like, oh my God, this is manna from heaven. Today's the day. I mean, the stars aligned and God was like, my son, shing, you may kill the pedophile. And it worked out for him. Yes, ultimately that may have been his motive of like, I want to kill this man. He found a legally justified reason to do it. Therefore, not guilty. His motive's irrelevant. Was a person in danger? Would a reasonable person presume that that child was in danger? Yes. Done. It doesn't matter that Aaron went home and beat off about it afterwards and like fucking dabbed out on fucking Fosler's grave. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter in my opinion. He saved his daughter and he got to satisfy his bloodlust. 2 birds, 1 stone. 2 birds, 1 stone. So, Kurt, how you doing, man? Hope you're doing well. Luke says, which is a valid way to defeat a self-defense claim. No, it's not. If it's reasonable, I have a reasonable belief my daughter's in danger, but I also want to fucking kill that guy. My belief, my motive, and my reasonable belief lined up. Oops. Sorry for that guy. What do you think was going through Aaron's mind? He's like, I'm going to kill that motherfucker, but also, oh my God, my daughter's in a car with that guy. So I think that's a big problem here. I mean, he's not shooting him because of the fear. He had to stop the car. He had to run it off the road to stop it. Why is Fosler not stopping the car? At that point, now it's kidnapping. Give me my daughter back. No. Once again, he had a valid excuse. Fosler gave him an excuse. The vigilante boner, yeah. He put that vigilante boner in the pussy of reasonableness, and he fucked it dry. Well, he fucked it raw, not dry, but he took that cock of vigilantism and put it in that juicy pussy of reasonableness. Sometimes that works. So, yes, Michael Fosler's death is Michael Fosler's fault. Yes. Luke's saying that's an incorrect statement of the law. I fear my daughter. I fear for her safety. I also want to kill that man anyway. Both things could be true at the same time. And if at the time I kill you, satisfying my vigilantism, I'm saving my daughter in self-defense, that's okay. Now, are they going to argue maybe that the daughter, and they don't say this in here, which is a little concerning to me, and maybe the daughter gave a statement that fucked him over, that she had hopped out of the car and it was already clear of it, and that, Fosler did put up his hands and surrendered. I could see why they're doing this, but I don't feel bad for him. This should not have been prosecuted like this. So, yeah, 2 birds, 1 mag. Yeah. It's like getting paid twice. He does need actually subjective belief. Yes, he does. Is my daughter in danger? Yes. A pedophile has her in a car. I'm trying to stop him. He won't stop. That's a subjective belief. It's reasonably subjective, and it's objectively reasonable. Like, it's reasonable at every level. This guy has my daughter and he won't stop the car and he has no right to have her. He's a pedophile. He's already accused of raping her. That's pretty reasonable. Pretty reasonable. So, that's pretty reasonable. You're arguing from the autistic criminal law exam angle. I understand that, but I'm just telling you how in the real world, like, you're going to have to convince a jury, like, oh, he had, like, in Lono, like, even in Ohio, dude, this would be fucking, like, you're really going to penalize this man for murdering this fucking pedophile? Yeah, good luck with that. Good luck with that. Why is the state being a cuck for a dead diddler? I don't know. Angela's saying there are little ears in the room. Lol. Well, hi, Angela. Hope you're doing well. And pathetic hermetic. This might be protecting Fosler, but this is also, remember, the state enjoys a monopoly on violence. And anytime you challenge the state's authority like that, you're like, Aaron Spencer challenged their monopoly on violence. He's therefore now challenged the authority of the state and the legitimacy of the state. Because the state does not have the monopoly on violence, it has no authority anymore. So that's a thing. Like, there might be some other issues here that we're dealing with, and remember that kind of gets to political philosophy. If the state allows people to start doing that, the state is now ceding that monopoly of violence back to the people, which is funny because in a way, we collectively as a society bestowed and granted unto the government the monopoly of violence. We trusted them to act judiciously and impartially and protect us with that monopoly on violence. And here they're abusing that trust on that monopoly on violence. So, yeah, I think there's some, there's some of that going on here, but I think ultimately it doesn't hurt the prosecution see this as, well, he was a policeman. He was a good man. So, I don't know, though. Jefferson Post says, does Arkansas not do tethers as a bail condition? Well, it wouldn't have done anything because he's, you mean like you want to put him on house arrest? Yeah, I mean, that's not always common. It's like stay away from kids. And usually in situations like this, when people in the community know you've been arrested for diddling, people keep their eyes peeled. If they see you anywhere around kids, they call the fucking cops. So probably part of the issue there. Part of the issue. Fuck use is okay. We got it. Yes. Let's see here. Mystery Sniper's been a member for 24 months. Says, try some Benicio del Toro voice. Hello, Angela. I still miss you, mi amore. Arkansas allows deadly force to stop domestic abuse. Yeah, I mean anything like any crime you're allowed to use force to stop if it's a violent crime, and the violence escalates depending on what you're facing. So, how is it murder if the pedos aren't human? Funny. What state is this again? Arkansas, Lonoke County, Arkansas. Could Sarah Huckabee pardon Aaron? Worst case scenario. Presumably so. I don't know how. Hold on here. How do pardons work in Arkansas? Remember, guys, not every state the governor just so the parole board has to be involved. Remember, guys, some states like Texas, the governor can't grant a pardon; only the parole board can grant a pardon. So it all depends. And the other thing I wanted to get to is somebody asked, it was the Arkansas mandatory reporter laws in Arkansas. So the mandated reporters, and this is Arkansas's mandating reporting statute, because somebody wanted to ask about this too. Let's see here. Yeah, you guys are looking at the we don't have the northern, we aren't having the aurora here. Still cloudy. So this is mandated reporters. So what do you have to do? Well, it kind of lists some of the basic things where you immediately have to notify a child abuse hotline. Shall, meaning you have to. You have reason to suspect the child has been subjected to maltreatment, died as a result, or died suddenly or unexpectedly, or observes a child being subjected to conditions or circumstances that would result in child maltreatment. Well, none of that happened here. None of that's happened here. Unless you're going to argue been subjected to child maltreatment. And having reasonable cause to suspect that, well, it's like third-hand information, so I don't know if this would count, but anyways. The following individuals are mandated reporters, and who knows what this lady was that ended up reporting. Probably some sort of child care worker, a daycare worker. It's Arkansas, so I doubt it was a dentist or a dental hygienist. Anything like that. It could be a foster parent. Could be a licensed nurse. It could be a law enforcement official. Any medical personnel who are engaged in the admission, examination, care, or treatment of persons. Mental health professionals, an osteopath, a peace officer, physicians, prosecuting attorneys, a resident intern, a full or part-time employee of a public school or private school, including, the counselors, school officials, a teacher, a coach or director of a team, a coach or director of a club. If you're 21 years of age and you volunteer in a public school, a person employed in a school official, a social workers, doctors, a surgeon, court-appointed special advocates, CASAs, probation officers, members of the clergy. There's a lot of people here. An attorney ad litem in the course of their duties as an attorney ad litem. And that's critical for attorneys. Because you don't always have a duty. If you work in a rape crisis center, you're a child abuse advocate tier. If you are the victim witness coordinator at a prosecutor's office, I mean, like, look at all this. Look at all this stuff. You're a licensed massage therapist. Now, this here, I don't know if this is legal. A person who is 18 years of age or older and observes abuse, sexual abuse, or sexual exploitation of a child. I don't know how that's legal. I get every other one of these because basically, I like how they say all this stuff and they go through all this, but the last one says, the last part of this is anybody who's 18 years of age or older. So that means everyone. I don't see how that's legal. I don't see how that's legal. Yeah, that's everybody. I don't see how it's legal. I don't see how that's legal. And I say that because misprison of a felony is what the old, in the 1800s, that was the crime of not reporting a crime. So back in the 1800s, if you knew somebody committed a crime and you didn't go to the authorities, you were charged with misprison of a felony. That one says observes, though. So what? If you observe it, the obligation, I mean, at that point, I'm not saying you should. If you see it, you should report it. But the idea you're criminalizing that, I don't know if I like that. I don't know if I like that. I don't know if I like it. I don't know if I like that. That's, Cyanide says you either report it or an accessory. Yeah, which doesn't, you know, I don't think that's an acceptable mode of the government to work. That's actually a very insane thing there. Luke says it's the same as murder, and you shouldn't have to report murder either. Shouldn't have to report a murder either. You shouldn't have to report any fucking crimes. I ain't seen nothing. I ain't fucking reporting. If you don't want to snitch, you don't have to. You don't have to. You shouldn't have to. You shouldn't have to. Like, there's no... You shouldn't be forced to do that. I don't think that's fair or legal to impose that upon people. So I don't think that should happen. Pedophiles don't like mandatory reporters, sure. But I don't like the government impressing people into becoming agents of the state either, if you don't want to. I don't want to get involved. I saw somebody get murdered. I ain't fucking saying nothing. We don't go run around hemming all those people up, even though we know they saw something. Shouldn't be that way. Shouldn't be that way. Torgo says, I don't understand how this is managed. Well, the reason is here, if you go to Arkansas, we'll go back to this. When you start looking at all these different groups, it's compelled speech, sure, but it's conditioned on something. Most of the people in this list, Torgo, you have a license from the state, and that's how they get it. That's how they get you. You have a license from the state. You know, to be a daycare or foster worker, you're going to be licensed. A coroner, you're licensed. A daycare worker, you're licensed. A dentist, you're licensed. If you're working in some of these shelters, you're going to be licensed. If you're an employee of human services, you're licensed. You're a foster parent, you're going to be licensed. A judge, you're licensed as an attorney. If you're a cop, you have a certification. A nurse, you have a license. A medical professional, probably some sort of licensure. All of these are people who have licenses or certifications that the state grants to them. So in exchange for having those powers and the ability to conduct that work, you have to report. So that's fine. That's the trade-off. If you're a nurse, you have to report. We give you a license. We decide what you do. So it's not really going to work. It's compelled, yes, but it's a condition of you having licensure. It's a condition of you having licensure. So, yes, if you work as a substitute teacher, you're a mandated reporter. Yeah. So, daycare workers are licensed now. Well, the place that you get certified for that. I mean, I don't know exactly how it's licensed, but a lot of places it is. Yeah. Let me see here. The massage therapy license too. Yeah, all of it. Yep. Now, let me see here. There's a couple more things here. You guys were saying spud gun for £5 sterling. The king sterling. He says, pop, 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 pop. Dang. Pop, 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 pop. Yes. Maybe that's how exactly it went. Enzo for $20. Thank you. Saying, I was put in a bad situation where I was faced with members of my family who were victims of SA. Spencer is indeed a hero. Laws, lawmen, and judiciaries who get in the way of ultimate justice deserve it too. Message is edited for YouTube terms of service. Well, you did a very good job there. That worked that out. And then Enzo for another $20. Thank you. Saying this is one of the reasons I don't like toucans. They're okay with stuff like this in society. I know it's a meme, but yes. After being faced with them involved in my situation, I gradually began to hate them. Oh, I mean, I understand. I understand. I understand. Yes. James Reese said, what's a toucan? We'll tell you when you're older. Yes. Elder abuse is also mandatory reporting. Yep. Yep. Nico says, YouTube turns of service. What about it? So, we owe the invention of copper wire to the toucans. Jesus. Oh my God. Robin's saying the YouTube filters spike up when political events are happening. But I mean, there's always a political event happening. There's always something happening. The toucanon is a Pokemon. Well, yes. I'm leaving that alone. We're not going there, chat. So anyways, that is the saga of Aaron Spencer right now, guys. That is the saga of Aaron Spencer right now. It's very, like I said, it's very revealing. Prosecutor's like, yeah, all that shit happened. He's still guilty of a crime. You're like, I get they're doing it to protect their monopoly on violence. But man, this is just not gonna look good in the community. Prosecuting this guy is not gonna look good in the community. I don't know why they would do it like that, but hey. You know, they're not the smartest people in the world. Not the smartest people in the world. I have relationships with women, but sex with men. Toucans, yes. What license do they pull from 18-year-old plus randos? Nothing. They just threaten you with a felony. That's what they threaten you with. Yes, Aaron is also running for sheriff. Yes, he is. We covered that last time, but yes, we'll bring that up again one more time. Aaron Spencer is running for sheriff of Lono County. And it's based. I'd vote for the guy if he was my sheriff. So here it is.
Failed.
You've never seen Aaron speak. Here you go. This is Aaron speaking, laying it out.
Lono, my name is Aaron Spencer. Many of you know my story. I'm the father who acted to protect his daughter when the system failed. I'm also a husband, a combat veteran of the 82nd Airborne Division, a contractor, and a farmer. And through my own fight for justice, I have seen firsthand the failures in law enforcement and in our circuit court. And I refuse to stand by while others face these same failures. That's why I'm announcing my candidacy to run for Lonoke County Sheriff. This campaign isn't about me. It's about every parent, every neighbor, every family who deserves to feel safe in their homes and safe in their community. It's about restoring trust, where neighbors know law enforcement is on their side and families know that they will not be left alone in a moment of need. Together, we can build a safer, stronger Lonoke County for every family. I'm Aaron Spencer, and I'm running for Sheriff of Lonoke County.
First thing here, first response is Meme Copium says he has turkeys. I trust him. Hard not to trust a man with turkeys. EDW Raptor says suspender snap. Yeah, sure. You got one real quick. Also, God, I didn't realize these were like that off. I got to fix that. Oof. Walked around today like that. Look like a fucking dork. Jumbo Nuts is 82nd is Fort Benning, right? No, Fort Bragg. The 82nd Airborne out of Fort Bragg, North Carolina. They're all American and proud to be. Can you vote for Aaron to be your dad? Maybe, if you want. Afix says, what's up, bros? It's joining late. Hope everyone's been well. Yes. Turbo says, America's bird right there. Yes, actually, that's true. Initially, Ben Franklin wanted to make and proposed that the turkey be America's bird of choice, not the eagle. But it was going to be the turkey. Gobble, gobble. But that did not win. That did not win out. So that did not win out. People looked at Ben Franklin and were like, no, we're not doing that, Ben. And he's like, why? Why? And they said, because we're not. And he's like, fine, I'll go. Ben Franklin's like, fine, I'll go catch lightning in a bottle. And actually, when you think about it, Ben Franklin did catch lightning in a bottle. When you think how the meme goes. We're not getting a Clyde sighting while I have my fancy clothes on. Well, Clyde's with 2.0 right now. Yeah, they told Ben to go fly a kite, and he's like, fine, fuck you. Turkeys are bitch birds. Yeah. Ben Franklin also loved horrors in France. He did. Well, if you're gonna have to have horrors, what better horrors than French horrors? I mean, really, like that's the gold standard of horrors if you're gonna have a horror. Yes, he also caught the clap in France. Yes, he did as an old man. Man in his 70s or 80s, he caught the clap. So. You heard it here, chat. Yes, clap. People found skeletons hidden in Ben Franklin's London home. Really? Ooh, that's interesting. That's interesting. That's kind of funny. Ain't it funny? Ain't it funny? Well, that is where we are, guys. We're all caught up. Like I said, I don't think Aaron Spencer has done anything wrong. I think everything he did was legal. I think he was based. I think he was justified. And yes, all the whores in France now are AIDS-riddled sub-Saharans. Like, okay, yes. I'm talking about in the glory days, like, World War II, when you could go find your French whores. Yes, Ben Franklin did a lot of stuff. Ben Franklin did a lot of stuff. Yes. Why, Aaron? Why? Why? Although when you hear the story, you're like, why not? Why not? So, yeah, like I said, I honestly, I was, and I'm not going to lie, chat. I said that at the beginning. I was waiting for the prosecutor to come in and say, hey, look, the daughter, he stopped the car, the daughter got out of the car, and then Aaron walked back up to the truck and fucking hosed the guy down or something. I was kind of waiting for that to be the story, but it didn't pan out. It's exactly happened the way we thought it happened. It's exactly I'm guilty. This is a defense attorney. You tell a story to the judge. Then the prosecutor tells, well, here's what really happened, Your Honor. And you're like, yeah, I mean, kind of like that. But this guy based it out like that. Even the prosecutor's like, yeah, it pretty much happened like this guy said. You're like, then why are we prosecuting him? And once again, I think there are philosophical issues that we're dealing with here. The underpinnings of governance is one of them. Certainly, they probably like this guy, and maybe they were all pedophiles together too. Who knows? That certainly factors in there. But I think there's a major issue of the monopoly on violence being threatened, and they're doing what they can to protect it. Eagle Eric says, Ben Franklin created Triple P. You mean like PPP? Pay. He created Ashton. Ben Franklin created the Keto Casino. Oh yeah, that's the thing here. Ultimately, it's going to be like we find the defendant guilty of being based. I mean, like, yes, we find the defendant not guilty, and we sentence him to go eating a steak dinner with us down the street. Like that's what this is going to turn into. We're going to turn this into. I honestly think so. I just don't see how they think this is going to work. Even if Aaron Spencer admitted, even if he did all of that, in the way I was saying the worst case scenario for him, I understand he's going to get prosecuted. Would I still say he should go to prison? No. So I don't know what's happening. I don't know what's going to happen there. So, they never should have prosecuted that rancher in Arizona either. Yeah, and we covered that guy's. Oh God, what's his name now? The rancher down in Arizona. He shot at the cartel members and the coyotes. Was it George Kelly? I think so, George Kelly. Yes, it had Meemaw, Granny Shark on that one. Yes, but you know what? That's the thing. If the prosecutor wants to prosecute you, they can prosecute you. And we go back to all of this here, yeah. Was Fosler connected to someone demanding they press charges? Well, he was a former police officer, and I think he was like a former chief of police in the area. So he probably had some connection. He probably had some connection with the local governmental establishment. And yeah, that's part of it there. What happened to Lavoy Finicum? He got murdered by the fucking Oregon State Police and the FBI. That's what happened to him. Did George Kelly get? It was in Arizona. They didn't have They had a 10-person jury, I think, or actually it's 12 people. It was 11-1 not guilty. One person refused to say not guilty, so they ended up with a hung jury, and then eventually the judge tossed the case, and then he dismissed it with prejudice. So he eventually got it done. Craig said, let's go through the grand jury. Actually, we'll pull that up here. Hold on. We will pull that up here. This is... let's see here. It does not look like he got indicted. He was prosecuted via information. And that's something, actually, I forgot. We actually talked about this in the last case, or the last show on him. Aaron Spencer is being prosecuted via information, meaning no grand jury was involved. So, yeah, I mean, like, think about it. If the prosecutor had to go to the grand jury would have never indicted. But that's the problem in a lot of states. About half the states in America, you could be prosecuted for a felony by information, meaning the prosecutor just goes, grabs off the printer, here's your charges. And we're prosecuting you all the way on that for, like, the most heinous of crimes. There are other states which are very based, like Ohio. You can only be prosecuted via indictment from a grand jury. And think about it. No grand jury would have ever indicted this case. So this case did not go through the grand jury. And this is a good example of the grand jury being a check on the government. Because if they don't want to prosecute it, the people are allowed to say, we don't think this is a crime. We don't think this guy did anything wrong. And they should be allowed to do that. Let's see here. He was chief of police in Indiana. Well, Yes, there was one asshole on the jury, yes. The judge in the George Kelly case was a sack of shit. I don't know. He threw it out. Ultimately. Spudgun says that's how it works here. Yeah, in Britain and a lot of other places in the world, you just get charges filed against you. The CPS, the Crown Prosecution Service, is the charging entity. No grand jury or nothing like that. Yeah. SB Seller says, is that why Ohio has misdemeanors that are 12 months? No. Misdemeanor is up to 180 days. That is the maximum sentence for a misdemeanor. We have no misdemeanors that go outside of that. The misdemeanor is 180 days. Anything greater than that turns into 6 months, and 6 to 12 months can be a felony. But misdemeanors only go up to 180 days in jail for a sentence. But no, in Ohio, our Constitution, we enshrined it in our Constitution, just like with the feds. You cannot be prosecuted unless it's an indictment. The only way around that is if you agree in writing to an information and you sign a waiver I agree to be prosecuted via information. Otherwise, if the prosecutor can't return an indictment, that's it. So, for example, if Aaron Spencer did this here in Ohio and the grand jury refused to indict, that's it for the prosecutor. They're shit out of luck. They are shit out of luck. And I've had a couple of cases where that's happened, where my client did something and the prosecutor could not get an indictment. The one time he got an indictment, it was for a misdemeanor, and they dismissed it because they didn't want to prosecute on the misdemeanor. My guy would take in the misdemeanor in a heartbeat, but we were not able to do it. The prosecutor dismissed it, and they sat there on it for like a year and a half because if it came back again and they dismissed it again, the case would be done. So they waited and they tried to get their evidence together. They put it in front of the grand jury again. Misdemeanor came back. And at that point, we did some work on it and we got it knocked down. And, the prosecutor had some evidentiary issues and they had to dismiss it. Got dismissed with prejudice. Case died. But they could not get an indictment, and it worked out for us. Ohio's been on a dub streak for 8 years now, longer than that. DeWine is a cuck, though. Yes, he is. Zabello is saying constitutional carry, legal fireworks, and no oppressive front plates. Yeah. Yep. Yes, he limited the time the defense had because the prosecution went long. I agree with those things. Walking off the bench during the defense, well, they were making a proffer. He doesn't have to stick around for that, actually. I've had to do that before. I think it's unprofessional, but it's technically not against the rules. And he limited their cross-examination time for making arguments of law. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff I didn't agree with, but I think at the end of the day, I think he was like, let's fucking get this done. And had they convicted him, I think he would have overturned the verdict. I think that was his way of like, let's fucking go. This case is bullshit. But I don't know for sure. Let me see here. Did I miss anything else? No, I think I got everything. I think we got everything tonight, chat. Don't forget the heartbeat bill. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff Ohio does is based. And unlike Texas, we've always had open carry. Ohio's had a lot of neat things for it. It's a state, you just leave it the fuck alone. It's pretty based at times. Stacey, you're saying, for example, I can't give you the example because that would reveal information about my client. So I can't discuss it. I'm sorry. But I do have an example I can use. Somebody got charged. The police charged a guy with burglary. And the police charged a guy with burglary. We went for the preliminary hearing. There wasn't a whole lot we could do. My guy got caught there like he was clearly not allowed to be there. So, we ran the preliminary hearing. The judge found probable cause, bound it over the grand jury. The grand jury came back with a charge of criminal trespassing as a misdemeanor, a fourth-degree misdemeanor, with a maximum sentence of the 30 days in jail and a $250 fine. Guess what my client did? My client wasn't supposed to be there. He knew he wasn't supposed to be there. He's like, I'll fucking take it. And we took it. But that's not this case that I was just talking about now. Ohio's finally bringing back the death penalty. We've always had the death penalty. We haven't not had it. We just don't use it. El Presador uses his Ohio rights to the fullest extent. He's an incredible YouTuber. Who's El Presador? Oh, who is this guy? I don't know who you're talking about. El Presador. E.L. Presador. Let me see here. Who is this guy? Are you talking about this dude? Eagle Eric? Is this the guy you're talking about? What the hell is he? Okay, so what is he talking about? This guy's got a lot of subs. What is he? How I drink grease out of pizza. His NFL picks. Okay. 2 Suburban Tigers. Okay, hold on. Nico, why are you screaming YouTube terms of service? I don't know what you're talking. You have to what? YouTube terms of service? What? What about them? What about them can't you show? What's wrong with the terms of service? Why are you juicing your titties? What's wrong? Tell me what's wrong, because I don't know. Like, just screaming it doesn't help me. James Reed, Mickey Steins. Yes, there are some updates there we need to as well work on, but I need to get some stuff done. You guys are just being retarded, I guess. But anyways, these cats. Here we go. Let's rewind this. One of them goes mew. So cute. Uh-oh. It's starting to go. The cat on the stump's getting upset. Okay. Are they gonna fight? Okay, that's kind of a letdown.
I thought you was gonna attack him, bro.
Yeah, I thought so too.
Gave up on it.
Yeah, let down. Totally let down. All right, so 2.6 views. That's not bad. What else this guy got here? Let's take a look real quick. He says he's sick. Why I quit making videos. How to tell $50 counterfeit. Let me see here. What else has he got? Okay, this is... I don't know where this guy's out of in Ohio, but hold on. Actually, maybe I can tell. Big lawn. I can't tell that sign where that's at. Going through a big sinkhole, chat. Don't tell me it's just a fucking puddle. That's going to be so funny. Oh my god, so fucking hilarious. Oh my god. Man, I gotta get up to his level of. I thought the prosecutors admitting Aaron Spencer's a hero was a good clickbait article title, but yeah, he barely made it. He carded up. Oh, that sign says Ruly Bros. Where? Oh, he's in Youngstown. Oh, well, jeez. It's like where The Wire and The Sopranos are like kit bashed together. He's been around mostly since the beginning of YouTube. Cool. I like him. He sounds like a fun time. Couple road pops with that dude. FJ meets fake Jeep. Ooh, I don't know about that one. I'm going to leave that one alone. You can just think of keys in front of me. I'll be entertained. I mean, yeah. Would have been real if he lived in Dayton. Yeah, the Mersh would have hated him for some reason. Most people that know El Presidor know him for tackling and toppling trees over his entire body. Okay. Is it Youngstown where Truman lives? Like Harry Truman? Like what Truman? DSP has been around since the beginning as well. I agree. Does Ohio have terms of service? Not really. No. Am I drinking cocoa? No, I'm actually drinking some tea. Cocoa sounds good, but I don't need to be drinking cocoa. I'm fat enough. My YouTube channel is way boring compared to this. Am I going to start lockpicking? No. No, but if you go over to Locals, you'll see we got a Set Me C kit, parts kit we're working on now. I can make a 308 rifle here. Or we'll 3D print an Amigo Grande. I don't know which way we're going to go with that yet. Is Ohio Japanese? No. President McKinley is from Miles, yes. Youngstown, yes. Mahoning County, where James Trafficant was sheriff, yes. The infamous James Trafficant. So, hot chocolate burns your throat. Well, it doesn't have to be that hot then. Turbo says, do I weld? I can make it look like, bubble gum and chicken shit. I mean, I wouldn't call it welding, but yes, I can glue pieces of steel together. I wouldn't say very well, but good enough, like that it works. It just don't look good. So that's, I'll make it work. I mean, it's if you've ever watched the videos of how you take a HK flat and bend it together, you just like tack weld all around the bottom and you're done. So, you don't have to be perfect. Perfect. I wouldn't, don't have me build a bridge in China, yes. Say, chat is an AI ranking your skills for the apocalypse. Don't answer. Pfft. Yeah. So, want me to weld it for you? No, I'm going to try it. I'm going to do it. You got to do plug welds on the trunnion as well. Yeah, but that's easy enough because when you put the trunnion inside the receiver, you could just like weld and then grind it. Like you don't have to be really good with that one. And I'm not pressing the barrel out of the. I'm leaving the barrel in the trunnion because it's a set me kit, so it's already got a barrel in it. I'll sacrifice that 922R part. Do like the flash hider. So I've got the receiver, the flash hider, the muzzle device, the op rod, and then I'm going to have like the hammer, the disconnector, the sear, and I think I've got another part or two, but that'll get me to my 922R parts. So. Do I have a Discord server link for my channel? Yeah, hold on here. Yeah, here you go. There you go. There it is. All right. So there we go. All right, guys. So we're going to wrap this up here. I had a long day today, and I got an even longer day tomorrow. And it's probably not going to get any better till Tuesday. So wish me luck, chat. Let me just say, it's going to suck, but we'll figure it out. Did you hear the Dems are blocked the release of the Epstein files again? Well, yeah. Well, when the one email comes out and they're like, "Oh, Trump is a victim," and you're like, "It's the one victim that said Trump didn't do anything to her," and you're like, "Oh, didn't work that well." So, are they trial days? Maybe that's part of the issue. Like, there's other stuff that was already set that we can't be like. I have a court that's like, hey, guess what? You're going to trial today. And I'm like, Judge, I already have trial set that day. And that court's like, don't fucking care. And I'm like, you can't just do that. Because now I have to go to these other courts. I'm like, hey, I need to continue. And they're like, no. We're set for that day. You fucking better be here. And I'm like, now what do I do? So, got some problems. But they'll get fixed one way or another. Just remember, you're not the one who goes to jail. Well, if I don't show up, because if I have to choose between places, I can get held in contempt. So maybe. Bring up the second string, Sean. I'm too popular. No, I'm dealing with some bullshit. So, yeah. So, with that said, chat, Aaron Spencer is a righteous man. I think he's still righteous. And remember, guys, tomorrow night we'll be doing the Thursday night show. It's going to be a shorter show. Like I said, I got a ton of shit to do, and I'm trying to focus on getting stuff done. So we are going to get to it tomorrow. There's a lot of fun stuff to talk about, though. We got some just a quick preview. Kim Kardashian failed the bar, and I know people want to make fun of her, but it's not easy. It's not easy to do. A guy got arrested for calling Dave Portnoy a Jew. We'll talk about that. Trump's E. Jean Carroll case is trying to get cert. It's not going to work, and I don't think it should. And then the two Indians players got indicted for basically point shaving, and they did it the dumbest fucking way imaginable. And we're going to go over that and some other things tomorrow night. So I hope to see you guys there Thursday night, 9:30. Hand the file to my associate Clyde. Yeah. No, that won't work. So. He was arrested for, he threw pennies. I didn't get to that part yet. I didn't really look into it. I was going to look into it tomorrow before the show. But anyway, yeah. So with that said, chat, I hope to see you guys all tomorrow. And remember, till next time, just because you did it does not mean you're guilty. Especially Aaron Spencer. You're not guilty, bro. Not guilty all day. All day. Making sure I didn't miss anything. Nope. All set. Good night, chat. You guys take care.
Weapons, blacksmithing, and models of planes, esoteric works, and even some trains. Much merriment had while drinking White Claws, tips on hunting, and even talking the law. Whatever you do, just don't talk to cops. Even when they nab you on illegal stops. Just 'cause you did it doesn't mean you're guilty. But please talk to a local attorney. Was that the fat guy that Kaden yelled